Okay. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Sami Garab. I'm the general manager of Reboot Tutoring LLC. Today, we will be doing a live session on SAT math. It's going to be 30 minutes long, and we've decided to move the session from Facebook Live over to Zoom. And here today, I have Stella Xie, who is a high school junior who got a perfect score on the SAT math. She got an 800 on it, and she'll be the she's a tutor with Reboot Tutoring LLC, and she'll be the one who is going to be conducting today's session. So Stella, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, so hi, my name is Stella, and as Sammy said, I got an 800 on the November SAT. So today I'll be doing a demo on 2 SAT math questions. And after that, I will do like a FAQs, like frequently asked questions section. So our first SAT math question is from Heart of Algebra. It's question number 16 from section 3 of College Board's SAT practice test number 10. That's for your own reference. So the question is, a manufacturer shipped units of a certain product to 2 locations. The equation above, which is T equals to 5C plus 12F, shows the total shipping cost T in dollars for shipping C units to the closer location and shipping F units to the farther location. If the total shipping cost was $47,000 and 3,000 units were shipped to the farther location, how many units were shipped to the closer location? So the first thing we need to do is figure out what we're supposed to find. So the question asks us, how many units were shipped to the closer location? So we need to find C in this question. So we need to identify the variables. We are given the equation T equals to 5C plus 12F. T is the total shipping cost, which is $47,000. F is the units shipped to the further location, which is 3,000. And C is the units shipped to the closer location, which is unknown, which is what we're trying to find here. So now we're going to plug our known values into the equation. So $47,000, which is the total shipping cost, equals to $5 per C unit times C units plus $12 per F unit times 3,000 F units. So if we simplify this equation, we get $47,000 equals to 5C plus $36,000. So once we have this equation, we need to find the value of 5C. So how do we do this? We do this through subtraction. So we use subtraction to find the total price of 5C. So here 5C equals to $47,000 minus $36,000. So if we simplify this equation, we get 5C equals to $11,000. So this is the cost of 5C, but this is not what the question is asking us. The question is asking us for C. So to get the value of C, we use division. So we use division to find C. C equals to $11,000 divided by $5. And if we simplify this, we get C equals to 2,200. So the final answer for this question is 2,200 units were shipped to the closer location. Our second math question is from Passport to Advanced Math. This is question number 6 from section 4 of College Board's SAT practice test number 10. So the question is, which of the following is equivalent to 2x times x squared minus 3x? So here, unlike the previous question, we are given 4 choices to choose from. A, negative 4x squared, B, 3x cubed minus x squared, C, 2x cubed minus 3x, or D, 2x cubed minus 6x squared. So here I'm going to first find the value of the equation itself without looking at the multiple choice first. So here we're going to rewrite the expression using the distributive property. So 2x times x squared minus 3x can be rewritten as 2x times x squared plus 2x times negative 3x. So the next step is that we're going to use the exponent rules. So as you can see here, we are going to use the product rule, which says that a to the x power times a to the y power equals to a to the x plus y power. So how are we going to apply this? Well, first, we see from our previous step that we have 2x times x squared plus 2x times negative 3x. So always remember that x by itself means x to the first power. So even though it's not written here, there's x to the first power. So using this information, we can rewrite this expression as 2 times x to the 1 plus 2 plus 2 times negative 3x to the 1 plus 1. So if we simplify this using the product rule, we get 2x cubed minus 6x squared. So if we go back to the question, that's choice D. So now I'm going to do some frequently asked questions. So what are the best practice books for SAT Math? Well, here I have listed a book from the Princeton Review, 10 practice tests for the SAT, from Kaplan, 8 practice tests for the SAT, and also Barron's SAT Premium Study Guide. So I have actually used all 3 books and I found them really helpful. They have a lot of really good practice tests. They give you math questions that really help you prepare really well for the SAT Math. And I've completed all of these tests. And with these tests, I got an 800 on the SAT Math. So I think these books are very helpful and they're on Amazon. So they're really easy to find. And besides these 3 books, I also have 3 other books that I found really helpful. The SAT Prep Black Book, which has both strategies for SAT Math and English. So I really recommend this book. And next book is 28 New SAT Math Lessons to Improve Your Score in 1 month. So it has a lot of tips and tricks on how to do the SAT. Like for example, I've learned that when you solve SAT math questions, sometimes it's better to solve the question without looking at the multiple choice, because sometimes the answer choices might trick you. They might be deceiving. So I've learned that you might want to solve the question first. And the last book pictured here is the official SAT study guide. So this book includes 8 real SAT tests. So it gives you a full rounded idea of how the SAT would actually look like. So it has all the formats and all the questions that you would find on the real SAT, which can help you prepare the best for the test. And after finishing this book, I found myself really prepared for the SAT. When I took the SAT I didn't feel nervous at all because I'd already done so much practice, and all these 6 books that I've shown, they will really help you a lot. But of course, SAT practice books is not the only part of helping you get a good score on the SAT. So the best way to practice for SAT math is, as I've mentioned before, SAT practice books plus one-on-one tutoring catered to your specific needs. So these practice books, they cover a wide range of topics, but one-on-one tutoring, it makes sure that you get the things that you need. For example, if you know that you're good at, for example, heart of algebra, but you're not good on something else like passport to advanced math, then I, as a tutor, can help you hone your advanced to passport math, passport to advanced math skills. So one-on-one tutoring makes sure that you can specifically like address the needs that's for you, for yourself. And with these 2 parts, you're able to get success on the SAT. So getting a good score on the SAT math it requires a lot of aspects, which include like practice, a lot of practice, and tutoring. So based on personal experience, I think that those are very important. So that's the end of my presentation for today. So if there's any more questions, I guess you can leave a comment. And yeah, so that's how so I myself have found like SAT practice books and like doing a lot of practice, and of course one-on-one tutoring are all important for getting a good score on SAT math.
Hey, Stella, I actually have a question.
Mhm.
So like when you're preparing for the SAT, like did you have like
Mhm.
a plan or a program? Like you said, hey, I'm gonna start, like 6 months before the test date, or I'm gonna start like 2 months before the test date. Like I know you studied for like all those different books. Did you have like a plan of like how many months you were gonna spend to study?
Yeah, so I actually started preparing for the SAT a year before. So a year before taking the SAT this November, I actually took the PSAT, and the PSAT is like a practice for the SAT. And I did a lot of math practice, I did a lot of English practice. So I feel like if you want to do well on the SAT, you need to do it gradually. You don't want to start um, just like a short time before the SAT. You want to start a long time before, and you want to do it gradually. You want to do it in little steps. So I myself, I did one practice SAT every weekend. So I did one test every weekend. I didn't want to overwhelm myself. And I found that doing this was helped me a lot because I was able to like do a lot, but not feel overwhelmed at the same time.
Okay, that's good. And I completely agree with you. I think it's always good to practice ahead of time to give yourself some time to really absorb the information. Also, you have
Mm-hmm.
time to diagnose your strengths and weaknesses. So you can
Yeah.
find out
Mm-hmm.
which concepts you are strong in math, and then you can find out which concepts you're weak in math, and you can actually like focus more
Yeah.
on your
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses. And
Yeah.
the whole point is you want to increase your score. The score is important because it's connected with scholarships, it's connected with admissions to college.
Mm-hmm.
um, Sometimes they use the
Yeah.
SAT in lieu of other like state
Mm-hmm.
assessment tests for graduation in high school. So
Yeah.
the SAT
Mm-hmm.
is an important test.
Yeah. So like another tip that I've learned along the way, something that I found really helpful is that when I took these SAT practice tests, I pretended that I was taking the actual SAT in the actual test room. So what does this mean? Well, this means that I timed myself. I made sure that I finished everything within the time limit. For example, I think section 3 is like 25 or 35 minutes. I don't remember which, but I timed myself to make sure that I finished like preferably 2 minutes before the time limit. And I also made sure that I wore a mask when I took the test because,
Mhm.
you know, right now with this pandemic going on, I wanted to make sure that I was comfortable with wearing a mask while taking a test. So
Mhm.
I kept the mask on the whole time when I was taking the practice test. And when the actual SAT test day came, I felt like totally comfortable. Um I was used to wearing this mask. I was used to the time limit. So and I finished everything on time, and I feel like finishing on time is another really important aspect of the SAT.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely agree with you on that. And as you're going through the problems, you're checking your answers, right? Like you do problem one, you would
Yeah.
solve it, then
Mhm.
you would just make sure you circled, you bubbled in the right answer as you
Mhm.
go along, because when you get to the end,
Yeah. Mhm.
you probably don't have time to go
Yeah.
back and double check
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like I know that like when I do the SAT questions, I like answer the question and then I bubbled immediately afterwards. Like I don't want to rush myself at the end and make like some silly mistake when I'm trying to transfer all my answers to the bubble sheet. And I've also found out that like having a good pace is very important. Like I know that sometimes I don't have enough time to check, but that's okay because I know that I spent enough amount of time on each question when I was actually doing it. So I know that I'm confident about my answers. So I feel like maintaining a constant pace is very important to making sure that you don't make too many silly mistakes.
awesome, awesome. Do you have any other tips you'd like to share today?
Um, I guess another tip is make sure you have plenty of pencils. I know this is kind of obvious, but you want to make sure you have wooden pencils, sharpened pencils, a lot of them, because you don't want to get too hung up on like all these little things. So, like a lot of things go into taking the SAT, but the most important thing is be confident in yourself, have
Mhm.
faith, like don't overfret it, like just go with the flow. So yeah.
Go with the flow, exactly. Now I noticed that for the SAT math, there's like different sections. There's like a calculator section and a
Mhm.
non-calculator section.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I think it's
Yeah.
always good practice. Like you follow the directions, like when you're practicing, and before the
Mhm.
test
Yeah.
is, do the non-calculator section without a calculator, do the calculator
Mhm.
section with a
Yeah.
calculator. You get used to those
Mhm.
conditions. And like you said, after you've practiced enough, take a practice test and do it
Mhm.
do it timed. uh, that way
Yeah.
you can feel the actual like testing conditions. You can feel that
Mhm.
you have to get things done in a certain time limit. And it's not only just about just solving the problem and getting to the end. It's knowing how to eliminate answer choices that just don't make sense. I mean,
Yeah.
you have
Mhm.
four for the multiple choice parts. You have four answers: A, B, C, D, and
Mhm.
each one is a 25% chance of getting it right. If you can go ahead and
Mhm.
eliminate some of those answer choices, you can increase your percentage of getting the answer correct without even solving um, uh, the problem completely, because this is a time test, and you got to have strategy to be able to
Yeah. Mhm.
to find the answer quickly.
Mhm. Yeah, like some questions they're kind of straightforward. Like for example, like 2x plus y equals to 10, and then they ask like something that's really simple, like what is the value of 2x? And then like you really don't need to do that much math. Like it's right there. So I do agree with like the fact that sometimes you don't really need to do that much. Like you can just do process of elimination. You can just you don't have to use a lot of tests because this is the time test. You don't want to spend too much time on one question and then feel rushed. So yeah, so I think like all of these things that we've talked about, they are really, really important.
Really important. Yeah. And one more thing that I could add is, and one testing strategy that I've used when I was, studying not only for the SAT, but also for like just school in general is, the teacher likes to always put easy, medium, and difficult problems on a test. And so I'm all for getting the max amount of points in the least amount of time. So I always look for the easy problems first, solve them, go back and do the medium problems afterwards, and then I save the hard problems for last. So that way I get the points for like the easy and the medium problems, and then I can go ahead and get the points for the hard ones, the hard problems. So yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
so that's all I
Yeah,
had.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Like,
Go ahead.
yeah. So like I've also had like a similar experience. Like sometimes I'm not sure about like a difficult question. So I skip it for now and then come back later so that I don't spend too much time on it. So I think like also I feel like doing all of these practice tests from like Kaplan, from Princeton Review, from Barron's, and from like the College Board itself, they are really, really important. So before you take the SAT, make sure that you know how the SAT is formatted, make sure that you know that you're familiar with it so that you can do the best that you can.
I completely agree. Awesome. Hey, so Stella, I really appreciate you coming on today and presenting the problems on the SAT and the very important resources that students can use. Um, so that's all I had for today. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's all I have too. So yeah.
All right, so we can go ahead and we can stop the session here. Let me go ahead and stop the recording.